And we're live. Hey guys, welcome back to Whiskey Charlie, the War Game Chat, our monthly show on YouTube. I'm your host, Mo from Mo's Game Table. And joining me are my two awesome co hosts, everybody's favorite Gimp with the Limp, the Gimpy Gamer, Nate Rogers. How's it going, Nate?
It's another glorious day in the core.
I love how he
And
says that.
and now I've got to get all these, honorifics correctly.
Here we go.
The war game, not only the wargaming wizard from Oz, but the notorious bipolar asshole from Oz. Kev Short from the big board. How's it going, Kev?
Who knew that I had multiple personalities? You knew that. I did not. Shut the fuck up. What are you saying? Stop. What? Oh, I'm here. Hello.
See, me and Gippy, we're very simple people, and we only have one personality.
This is what wargaming can do to you if you play enough games long enough.
Play enough solo, and but then again, I've come to grips with that. So I have the solitaire, the two sides in the one head thing, where that's I think a lot of that's due to just memory. I'm like, hey, I'm going to do this as this side, and then when I go to the other side, I'm like, damn, I wonder what the hell that guy's going to do. Oh shit, I forgot what I did. Oh, it works.
I do that every day. I was driving down the street to go to this store for my wife, and I'm driving downtown. I was like, where am I going again, and what am I doing?
That's just
So
old age setting in there, Kev.
there you
Yep.
go. There's one for Gimpy. KTF Gimpy.
Oh, ooh, there we go.
Do you know what
Ed's
that
on the
means?
team. Ed's on the team.
Do you know what that means?
No.
Kill them first.
Kill
Oh,
him
yeah.
first.
Always.
But
No,
did
that's
you
from
know
Galaxy's Edge.
Galaxy's Edge? But did you know origin story also KTF, keep the faith?
There you go. That too.
Yeah. So anyway, now that we got that out of the way,
So the west coast of the east coast in Tampa. There you go. And okay, so topic number one that Joe wants to talk about is concise rulebook.
Jesus Christ!
You
All
knew
right.
that was going to come up.
Let's hit the ground running.
Oh, good grief! Here we go.
And then John is saying he's trying out the end of Napoleonic Wars. Thanks for your
Nice.
videos, Stuka Joe. Great job, Stuka. Getting those awesome videos out there for
Awesome.
the Napoleonic game. And speaking of Napoleonic games, I got to show Kev something.
Uh-oh.
Well, two things. And this is not Napoleonic necessarily, but this is by Iron
Gotcha.
and Blood.
Yep.
All right. That will be a giveaway tonight.
Oh, very cool. I just sold that copy of mine.
That
Actually,
is
I
that
thought it
is
was good.
thanks to Herm Lutman, who is
Very
doing
nice. Great game.
the show.
Great
Yes.
game.
But this is the one that's gonna, I think Kev's gonna be a little excited about.
Oh, come on. Wow.
It's a CDG. Did you
It's a
know that?
CDG, and I think it has meeples too.
It doesn't have meeples, but it does have cubes and it has blocks. And the blocks,
Cubes and blocks together.
cubes and
That's
blocks
awesome.
and counters.
Do you get to put stickers on the blocks or just
You get to put stickers on both sides of the blocks, front and back.
God, I
I
hate
love
Is the
stickers.
whole concept of the game
Gosh.
is you and me, it's point to point, right? So
Right.
you and me are playing, and you see me moving my guys around. Well, you'll also see me put a block next to them. That's the order that you don't know what I've given those guys.
right?
That's the cool part of the
But
game.
what's the sticker on the other side of the block? If it's
It's the
double-sided?
flag. It'll be the French flag or the
It,
Russian flag.
it tells you what your gender orientation
So
is.
just
Yeah.
dumb stickers.
You identify
for
as
extra-
Russian or French. So
Yeah.
I hate
Well,
stickers.
guess what? Guess what just arrived today?
what just arrived today? Oh,
Raider
nice.
Johnson.
Mine comes tomorrow.
Yeah. So I'm going to. We can have a look at the bits inside. I literally haven't even pulled the shrink up. I just cut it so we can get into it if we want to.
Sweet.
Assuming we have time after all. Whoops. All the this goes my
How long
water.
is the rule book?
Yeah. Oh, it's huge. It's really difficult to read.
Big letters. It's 14 pages with big letters.
It's 14 pages with big letters, and it uses can and may interchangeably.
Well, don't forget when you're looking at the Napoleonics that Imperial Borders that you're so excited about. It's on Kickstarter right now.
Who? What?
The Imperial
one?
Borders, the one that I covered.
Oh, the Axis and Allies and the Napoleonic game.
Yes,
Really?
basically.
You didn't feed the dog, did you?
No.
No,
Bring
you
her
didn't
on.
feed the
Bring her
dog. What
on.
the
Let's
hell?
let's add some beauty to the show.
Yes, we got the beast. Why don't we get the beauty?
She just came back from the pool, so she's not makeuped up. She will not get on camera. I couldn't
well,
drag her in front of the
But you
camera.
never hurt anybody.
Yeah, if I did that, she'd kill me.
That'd be hilarious.
You mean that one?
Yeah, I'm thinking about getting that. I'm debating. I'm just going to wait and see what the reviews are like. I think.
Traces of War, I got on the table, and I was gonna get to it this weekend, but I ended up getting jammed up with trying to finish some video stuff,
Right.
and I've got it still set up. Excuse me, I had to reset it back up because I had to clear the table because I did previews on these two,
Right.
and I reset it back up, and I'm gonna restart and play it again. If you played a victory lost, victory denied, it's the same, essentially the
Okay.
same system. So
Okay.
you're gonna be able to jam through it. Traces of War is after Kursk, and Traces of Hubris is Fall Blau. So
Good luck, right.
if you want to, like I say, it has a monster game feel, like a mini monster game feel. It's not a monster and it's not a mini monster. It's got the counter density is way too low for that.
Right.
There's only 3 counter sheets, but it has that
That's so
feel
cool.
because you got this massive maneuver room, and you're
Right.
going to
Is it
basically
core
just
level?
be pushing. Yeah,
Is it
and you're
core?
going to be
Yeah.
pushing across the map. So there's going to be a lot of maneuver, and that's where it starts giving you that feeling like it's a monster, even though it's not. And
Right.
if you're going to get hung up on historicity, it's probably not going to be a game for you because there's going to be
Right.
ahistorical results. You want to just play a
Wait,
war game?
what word was that?
Go for it.
Historicity.
Historicity.
His to kiss your backside.
That
Henry.
that is not a word. I'm calling BS on that one.
Yes, it is.
Historicity.
Historicity.
Histo-
Okay, here we go.
We're gonna have
Freedom
to
of-
Historical
pull-
accuracy is another way of saying it.
Yes.
historical accuracy. Yes, those two words exist. Historicity.
That's all right. You're a Marine.
Historicity, historical authenticity, dictionary.com.
I heard a
You
lot of
blue
games
crayon.
Shut
people
up.
use that word.
Get a blue
Just saying.
crayon.
Red only. Cherry flavor.
See, there we go. Even John says it. It's a
John's
word
high.
game.
He doesn't count. He's in the Philippines. He's way over there.
Christoph just came in for a minute and had a bail on us. So hopefully you'll get to watch the show later. But so Gimpy, you had a subject you wanted to talk about.
Oh, do you want to go
That's
there
near and dear
first?
to
I
your
thought
heart.
we were gonna do air and armor first, but yeah, I'll
Well,
go
no.
first.
Yeah.
You know, there's another word right here, verisimilitude.
Yeah. No.
He's like, I don't even want to go there. I can't
I couldn't even
pronounce it.
say that one. It's too hard.
There's too many fuck that. Okay.
There, it's more of a warning for people for potential crap that's going on with Kickstarter, and I've seen it hit in both directions. I got a warning video coming out in a couple days on it, and the basic gist is that you have to be even more careful now with Kickstarters than you did previously. There's a game table that turned out to be a scam, and it's pretty obvious when you look at it now. Look at their page; all the images are generic. Scroll down, especially to how they'll have the people associated with the company at the bottom. The pictures are generic, like ripped off of Google. Doesn't look like anyone was involved. It's a Chinese scam, and they did it at a high enough cost to make it seem like it was possible, but at a low enough cost that people would be willing to risk the money. But it was this game table, and I mentioned it to you before, but it had LED lighting, built-in chargers, all the little accoutrement. It had built-in speakers, right? And it was $230.
Whoa. Hold on. Go back for a second here.
What?
You were picking on historicity and you were picking on verisimilitude, and here you go throwing on accoutrement with
Yeah.
the little French pronunciation to accoutrement.
Yeah, it had all the little
All right,
the
continue
bells
on.
and whistles for it. But when you really dug into it, it's pretty obvious that there was nothing back there. And the biggest factor that shows that is no third-party person ever saw it. So they never sent it to anyone who wasn't outside of them to review this thing. So I don't know that it ever actually existed, but it's been 9 months since they last commented on it. So more than likely, these people's money's gone. The Kickstarter raised $450,000.
Sweet baby Jesus. Look
Yeah.
at that action. I'm going to start me a Kickstarter.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It was a Chinese scam. There was another one that if I had to put money on it, I would say it was money laundering. Would make perfect
So the
sense.
U.S. government was doing it?
Yeah. They did that game, what was it called? Wonders of the First. Collectible card game The highest pledge level was for $8,500, if I remember right. Yeah.
Oh my God.
The average pledge level was $700. That was the average pledge level for the game.
Wow.
And it was just for a bunch of cards that were all generated by AI. All AI images, they all look the same. I even looked because supposedly there was a game involved with it, and literally it was, is your card bigger than mine? You had a row, 1, 2, 3, 4, I think up to like 7, and you would play your card, and they would all have different powers, and it would be power 3 or power 7, and there would be an opponent across from you. But if they played an 8 to your 4, well, 8's bigger than 4, so they win. They get the gem. That was the game, right? So it was very, very basic. Just to say that there was a game behind it. When they launched that Kickstarter, it funded for hundreds of thousands within minutes. So my guess and others' guesses was that they had backers who were waiting to pump up the $8,000 pledges, put a whole bunch into that, make it seem like it was worth money. Either that or it was a place they're trying to launder funds. But people were tricked into buying it because they thought these cards are going to be worth something like Magic cards, right?
You
That's
know,
the problem. These CCGs, people buy into them
Yeah.
speculating. Oh, this is
Right.
going to be like $1 million in 2 years or 10 years. No,
Right.
it's going to be worth nothing, and you're going to be out $700.
Yeah, that's the big angle that they were playing
Yeah.
on it. More
Well,
than
I think it's great that you're doing a warning video, Gimpy, because
Mhm.
there's a old Latin saying or Roman saying caveat emptor,
Caveat
right?
emptor.
Buyer beware, right? So you got to pay attention to these things and not just blithely run in and sponsor the upfront. Like the upfront thing was another classic example. That wasn't a scam; it just became a legal issue. But you got to be careful with these things and just buy with reputable people, right?
well, it can't even just be reputable because some appear reputable, and then the house of card falls.
Yeah, that's true. Good point.
You
Yep.
need to make sure that they don't have a whole lot of projects that are still hanging in the air that haven't been
Mhm.
delivered. Because Mythic Games, the ones that I've been hating on, because those people deserve to be in prison for this. Their big thing was that you couldn't get your pledge for Six Siege if you didn't pay the contribution. They could only make the copies that people paid the extortion fee for, which was
Yeah.
double your initial pledge.
Wow.
Well, it turns out now they are selling the game on their website. So most of the backers who paid the extortion fee appear to have gotten theirs, but they're selling retail copies on their site. So they got all the copies. They just aren't giving them to half their backers. They're selling them on their website, which is
That's lame.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, did you see Ed's comment?
No, no. Oh yeah, I
Yes.
saw
Yeah.
that one.
I saw that one. It's made like, last I saw on it was like 230 grand, 250 grand, something like
Yeah.
that.
Is,
it funded.
is that a Hollandspiel game or who's doing that?
No, I forget who's doing it, but there is somebody doing. They got miniatures and everything, and there's
Miniatures.
because
Yes.
because the whole board game community is just weak, and they just freak out over everything. There are people like, I'm offended by this, and it's like you realize that the creator of the game is a stripper, so it's like
Well, were you looking for the PC word for stripper? You paused.
no,
there
no.
for
I'm
a
just
second.
saying they're a stripper. They're. It's not like
Or-
It's not like you and me making this game and we're throwing out these.
Right. It's
chicks
real
with-
life,
yeah,
baby.
I mean,
It's
these are
based
people
on
that
real
are doing this.
experiences. It's
Yeah,
based
these
on
are
real
people
experiences.
it's people who do this and they're making games and they're flipping out about it.
I love it. I'm
Yeah.
going to go back it.
More-
I didn't want
more
to play
power
it.
to
I was
them.
going to back it.
Do you want to
Okay.
play with the little miniatures? Could you imagine your wife walking in to you
Oh, yeah.
soloing that game?
Honey, no, honey. It's historically accurate.
Soloing
has-
that game.
It has historicities.
Historos the titties.
You didn't even realize Hysterical Titties, but you didn't even think about what you were saying. You're soloing that game.
Oh yeah, that's another way to take a look at it.
Wow.
No, my whole purpose is just to warn people. Make sure you look. Make sure that a third-party person, someone who is not involved with the company, someone who is like me or Mo or Kev, it doesn't have to be us, but someone who's not gonna shill for the company, has got their hands on it. And shush, go get mommy. Make sure they have more than just generic AI images. Make sure that it appears realistic for what they're charging. If they're offering you I think that table was 6x4, 6x4 table with built-in speakers and LED lighting and four. I remember that four wireless chargers for cell phones for $200. It's probably not realistic. You're probably not going to get anything for your money.
They should have gone all in and said for $300 you can get a built-in LCD monitor in the
Yeah,
table, so you can
exactly.
change
Oh,
your
yeah.
Touch
game
screen.
playing thing on the fly. You
Touch
can have a different
screen.
table.
You know how you can have the game tables? They've got the shell, the topper for it,
Mhm.
so you
Yeah.
turn it into a regular table.
They're more expensive than that.
Yeah, the upgrade to have a topper for it was $40. That was it, $40, and you
Wow,
get
that's
a topper.
that's not even an MDF. That's like totally cardboard at that point.
Yeah, Chinese
40
tofu
bucks.
construction is basically what they call it.
Oh my gosh. So I bought a 6 by, what is it?
No.
24, 20, a 6 by 24 inch. I think it's just wide enough for a mat. And
Han, come
it's
get
height
her.
adjustable, right? And it has 4 caster wheels. That was $239, $249 plus shipping. So, you can't put all the electronics and all the rest of it in there because that costs real money. That's
Well,
that's just common sense stuff.
I might be able to do that and make the 250. I might, because the crappy table that I bought before we moved into this place, I literally bought off of Facebook Marketplace. Somebody was dumping an old kitchen table. It was just under 4 foot wide by 6 foot long. I bought it for $20. Now, the reason they sold it for $20 is they just wanted to get rid of it because it
Yep.
was not really a presentable table for a kitchen table. I was like, mine's going to be covered. I don't care what it looks like.
Yeah.
I'll take it for $20. So for
that's-
$20, I'm not
Yep.
giving that table up ever. I mean, that's always going to be one of my tables.
Is it actual wood or is it veneer?
Yeah, no, it's legit wood. I mean, it's an older table.
If it's
But, I
legit
mean,
wood, you can refinish
The
it.
top, oh yeah, I can refinish it, but the top's a little wavy and stuff like that, and it's got some peeling on it. And I'm like, I don't care. I'm throwing a damn mat over top
Yeah,
anyway,
you
so
can
I
have
don't care.
felt over the top or
Yeah.
one of those mats, and you're good to go, right? Because you're filming and all that sort of fun
Mhm.
stuff. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, so I mean, never overlook the Facebook Marketplace. You can get some real good deals, especially when someone's moving. They're like, we just need to get rid of this table. Take it off our hands for $20. Hell
we
yeah.
we got a fridge in our new place. We bought a fridge for a third of the retail price, brand new in the box, never been used,
Damn.
and it was like a really substantial, cool fridge, way more than we would ever have budgeted for. So, anyway,
We were talking
Right.
about life, and life is a war game.
Well, we were talking about buying
Kickstarters.
games. Yes.
Yeah.
And this warning includes war games. It can include any game. Just be aware.
Yeah,
Don't
I mean,
fall for
and
the
that-
scams that are out there.
One of the biggest things to remember, just one last thing about the Kickstarter thing. One of the things to remember is, a couple of things to remember. Number one is look and see how many games that company backs, because a good company is producing games is going to back other people's games. Mark Walker's a great example of that. He backs a lot of other games, because he's a gamer
Yep.
as well as publishing games. So you'll see Mark Walker has backed this game and that game. It'll pop up, and then he'll come out with his project on Kickstarter. He's one. Someone had mentioned that before. Flying Pig and Compass are two that
Yeah.
they won't hesitate to
Yeah.
back. And I would
Yeah.
add
And-
Lock and Load in there.
And, well, I was just going to say, and despite Lock and Load's current round of challenges,
Sure.
I think they have been really good on Kickstarter up until now, and let's just hope that it all works out. And I think as well that they're providing some really nice upgrades to
Mhm.
folks
Oh yes.
for less than cost to make up for things. So I think that's
Yes.
cool. So anyway.
Yeah. So if you've been backing that, pay close attention, because I think you're going to be wowed. Is all I'm going to say.
Yeah. Because we're not supposed to know. So
Don't know what. Well, I don't know. What are we
What
supposed
do
to
I
do?
know what you're talking about? I have no idea.
Okay, on to war games. So, what have you guys been playing lately, Nate?
Oh, well, hold on. What have I been playing? I'm still working on the Fate of All. Finally got back to that. I had a couple of projects that were time sensitive, so I had to get those ahead of time. The Imperial Borders, I covered, like I said, that one's on Kickstarter now. Really good game. Ignore Kev down there in the bottom area, the hater against small miniatures. But I really like the game. I think they did a really good job with it. The player boards are awesome. The battles are deep enough to be fun, but not long enough and too complex to bog the
Which
game
game is
down.
this?
Imperial Borders.
The Euro game.
It is
Oh,
not
the
a
Euro.
Euro
Oh,
game.
the Euro. Oh, that. I sorry. I
It is
just got
not a
lost.
Euro game. You have
I just.
England
I,
fighting Spain, fighting France, fighting Austria, fighting Prussia, fighting Russia. They got all the big ones in there.
So does Here I Stand and all that.
I
I
don't
don't
know
see
Here I
those as
Stand.
war games.
Does Here I Stand have
They're
counters?
strategy games. No.
Was that little blocks?
Oh, no, counters. Yeah, that's counters. Sorry.
Oh. Yeah, I like little minis. I don't know what y'all's problem is against little minis.
I don't have anything against minis. I like
like
miniatures
minis.
for like
I like
skirmish
minis.
games and stuff.
I
Yeah.
like minis on
And mech
a
games.
little battlefield.
Stripper
but
pole.
not- Exactly, Dan. Like ride that pole, girl.
No, the game looks awesome. It's massive. Everyone gets a neoprene mat, right? They're
Oh my
doing
gosh,
neoprene
really?
as standard for the game, which I
Neoprene is standard. But can you wear it?
Wetsuits.
Can I make a skirt out of it?
you can make like 3 skirts out of it. There's a lot of material there. It hung off both ends of all 4 ends of my table. I couldn't fit it
So
all
it's-
on there.
So
Wow.
it's well hung. It's a well hung neoprene mat.
What is with you? I mean, did you take a Viagra before this show or something? You're like
No,
tuned up.
I'm all hooked up on this whole stripper game. I gotta go get that thing.
Got all worked up now.
I know, man.
How many pages of rules does that have?
3.
Not many.
3.
Shit, I didn't think to write it down. I wouldn't say more than 30.
No,
Somewhere
I
in
was
that.
talking about the stripper game. Sorry.
Yeah, that's why you said 30. Like 30 for a stripper game? What the
Oh
hell?
no, I was talking still about Imperial Borders. But besides Imperial Borders, I have had not Air in Armor, but Aces in Armor on, and that one was another time sensitive because it went live today. Today's Tuesday. Yes, it went live today. If you've played Trench Club, that is the World War One version of this one. This is the World War II version of the game. I hate to say this because Kev's gonna just giggle, but this another small miniatures game, but hexes and bullshit. Fun little game. Shut up. Both
Hexes
of
and
them.
bullshit?
Hexes and bullshit.
He's down there laughing at me. I get out with both of
It's a
them.
war game on
I'm
being
really
a
trying not to.
politician.
I'm really trying.
For those of you who have not played Aces in Armor, I like it. It has a veterancy system for the units and depreciating wounds or attack value as they take wounds.
Veterancy system? Is that a word?
Yes, it's like hysterositides. All the histy titties.
And now
Oh,
we're back.
boy.
We're back to the stripper game again. I'm lost. I don't know what's going on here.
All right, Kev, your turn. No stripper talk.
God, after all that, I have no idea. Let's see. I did some lock and load tactical Vietnam. That was fun.
That one's
I-
not accurate.
What did he say? What
It's not accurate.
So-
The Vietnam version, it has Marines in it, and he gave the Marines the same morale value as a VC. That's not accurate. The Marines should be higher.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, he did.
You're wrong. No, you're wrong, dude.
I remember they
First
both
of all,
had a
Marine-
value
first
of
of all,
like
Marine-
7.
No, the VC have 4, and the MBA have 5. Marines have 7. Marines can self rally, and that's all from memory. So don't hold me to that.
I've got the playthrough on my channel. It's an old one.
Congratulations,
I can pull it
you're
up.
wrong. Okay, you
I'm bright.
either
I
that
know.
or you can't read.
Nope.
Now there may be certain characters that have leaders that have a 7 morale, but the standard units do not.
I remember dinging the game back then because he had the
man,
same
you better
morale
go back and fix that video, dude, because you just
No.
you know,
Maybe
That's the
maybe it was that scenario. I don't know.
maybe you got lost in the 220-page rule book. Anyway,
Historicity.
so I've been playing that. Great campaigns in American Civil War. I played a Gettysburg campaign and did about 10 turns of that. Lee basically died, and I decided that that would probably end the campaign, so I bailed on it after that. I really like that system, but I prefer playing it opposed, and I'm almost thinking it would be better with some sort of hidden movement or dummy counters added to the game to kind of make it more less known as to where your forces were in the Civil War, because those guys were roaming all over the countryside, and you didn't really know where they were or what was going on, and there was a lot of cavalry recon going on.
Yeah.
That's not really reflected in the game. So, but anyway, maybe I played it wrong, because according to certain people, I don't know what I'm doing. So there's that to consider when you make your choices about buying those games. What else did I play recently? Something else. I can't remember. I have a large DAC 2 campaign set up from Gazala onwards. So what's that? May or June 42, something like that. I've got the Betis campaign which is a Mark Herman riff. It's that Mark Herman small. What's that game? Does it even have a name for that game system? The Wellington
Rebel Fury.
Yeah, the Rebel Fury system. It's basically
Yeah.
that. And so I've got that
Napoleon
in.
and
Yeah, I think Dan Fury up for 40. It's a magazine game from C3I. So just set that up, got the first turn done. That's been good. And of course, I have Aaron Armour's intro scenario set up, and I've been busy skimming the rules and getting ready to follow the sequence of play and watch the videos. Oh, sorry.
Fuck you.
But anyway, because that's how you learn games these days, is you watch videos.
This is true. No, I think that he's got a valid point there. I think
I'm sure he does.
well.
I mean, you may or may not have a vested interest in that, but
I do have a vested interest to have those videos get out there and make everybody be happy.
I think you make people happy, and that's all that matters. And so that's all I'm doing.
That's all you're doing, slacker.
I am playing Arden 44 online on Vassal as well.
Nice. Well, like I said, I've got Traces of War up on the table because we were talking about that last week. So I was like, I'm going to try to jam out a game of that this weekend. Unfortunately, I got tied up with learning or the videos for The Last Gamble that I've been working on, because trying to get those cranked out, because I'm going to be not incognito, but I'm going to be incommunicado is the word I'm looking for here in a few weeks. So be out of communication for about a week, because my wife and I are heading off for our vacation for our 25th anniversary, and
awesome. Where are you going?
We're taking an Alaskan cruise, so we're gonna not have as much communication capability there when we're on ship. So
very small tables in those rooms.
Yes, they will be, and which is fine, because I mean we got a balcony suite, so it won't be too bad. But there'll still be small tables. I won't be probably playing too much, but I won't be bringing Aaron armor for one, because I don't want it to fly out the window for one. So I'll probably bring maybe a couple small games, like maybe something like Viliki Looky would probably be perfect. I might be able to get into that.
You should take the stripper game and see if you can get your wife to play it with you.
I can make it into a big, huge party on the ship.
Right. And so instead of playing strip poker, you can play the stripper game.
Yeah.
And, you can have a whole bunch of 25th anniversary fun.
There you go. Might have to do that.
Where are you sailing out of?
Seattle.
So you got to drive up, or are you flying up?
No, we're flying. It's like, screw driving. I'm not driving all the way up to the Northwest. I'll just get in a plane and fly up, get off, get on the boat. And then we go from Seattle up to Sitka. Then we come back down to Juneau, Ketchikan, Icy Strait Point. I think there's one other, and the last one will be BC, be Victoria in BC, and then we
Oh yeah,
get
cool.
back
Like
to
Vancouver.
yeah. So we'll be there for. I mean, it's 7 days. So I mean, if you're going to go to, Alaska, you don't do that. You don't do a 3 day trip for that. I mean, you
Yeah,
got to take
sure,
a week at
sure.
least. So, and I've always wanted to go to Alaska, and my wife has been interested as well. So that's what we're going to do. Instead of going to the Caribbean or one of those cliche places, we're going to Alaska. And I was like, you want to go to Alaska? Because, it's not going to be warm like you're used to. It's going to be a little cooler. So,
Yeah, but they got indoor pools and saunas and stuff like that.
oh, yeah. I mean, we're going to be doing all the excursions too, like going
Yeah.
whale watching and all that stuff.
Oh,
So,
that'd be so fabulous.
yeah.
I've never been to Alaska. I would love to go. My wife wants to get one of those camper van things and drive up there, or fly up there and then drive around.
Drive around. Yeah.
And I
That
was
would be
like, yeah,
cool.
that would be kind of cool, but I'm sure nothing could go wrong between the two of us.
Oh, no.
Me being such a great mechanic and all, and her being such a wilderness person.
So, there we
Well,
go. We got
that's
to get a ship for strippers. I own and operate Bikini Island, where only the hottest bikini babes live. There you go. So that, and then the other thing is obviously working on the videos for Last Gamble. We'll be getting videos also for Aaron Armor, but that whole scheduling for that changed when Bruce was working on Fifth Core, trying to get that done to get sent into Compass. So that's why there was a delay on getting to those videos.
what was the rush? And this is probably not. I don't know if it's for sharing or not, but if you're aware, what was the rush to get Fifth Core into the print queue? I mean, I don't understand.
Well, I think it was just getting corrections done because there were a couple of things that were, and this is not with the errata or anything. This is just the files themselves. Because anyone who's been working in production, it's like, oh no, that's not the right file. This is the right file. There were some things that had to be corrected in that regard.
But why would so as a company they decided that based on the pre-orders they would go ahead and do a volume 2 anyway, or they already made a commitment to do a volume 2, or because it's kind of ballsy to just say, hey, you know what, fuck it, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to swear there, but got Aaron R, I'm out, that's great, whatever, let's just do volume 2, right? I mean, it hasn't even been out for what, 2 weeks, 3 weeks shipping.
No, the plan all along was to do Aaron Armor Würzburg, and then there's going to be Aaron Armor BAOR, and Aaron Armor Fifth Core, and then Aaron Armor BAOR. So all three of them are going to be covered. And then, of course, they're also looking at going back to World War II using this system, and then possibly even contemporary in the future, like near future, modern, whatever.
But this is going to have the same
system,
rough core system. I mean, specialized, in like.
Oh, sure, there'll be game specific rules, I'm sure, because it's just like any other game system, Next War or Lock and Load Tactical or whatever, OCS. You're going to have, this is the base rule system that you're going to be using. In this game, ignore this rule, forget this rule, or this rule supersedes that rule for this reason because it doesn't fit for the theater or whatever. So yeah, I mean that is what I would expect, but that's why, which kind of dovetails into our topic that everybody's been waiting to hear about, concise rule books. But that's what goes into the whole talking about the 150-page rule book with Aaron Armor, and yeah, there's a bit of a learning curve there. There's an effort level that needs to be met to learn the game. But when you do, you're learning a system that is going to have multiple games in it. Just like OCS. OCS is not something to learn in 5 minutes. It's not a super complex system, but it's not something, oh yeah, you're just going to pick it up by osmosis. You have to put some effort into it. But once you put the effort into it, how many games are there in the OCS system?
Though, right. Different philosophy, though.
Yeah.
Right,
yeah.
Right. So
no, totally different. But I mean, like series rules. When it comes to a series, rules.
At least they're accurate. I mean, they rated the game as complex, and I've seen some publishers who have flubbed the line. Like, it's medium. It's a 6.
I don't know. I don't know that it's complex, though. I mean, if you take out, okay, let's not say that. If you look at,
no, say it, piss them off. Do it.
No, if you look at the core function of in the sequence of play of operations and activities, basically, it's really not that hard, right? You're allocating a command point to activate a division or a regiment, and you're going to allow those units to go do a certain type of activity based on an order they're given. And the juice in the game is the variable strength points that you're allowed to, fluff around with. And then you've got this combat thing, which I, haven't run any yet, so I don't know how different it is from the core system. But all of that is basically the same as what was in the original system. It's just the wording that's been expanded and clarified, and all the rest of it. And I get that,
Is
but
the combat system rather streamlined?
I think it's pretty
Mhm.
straightforward. I know
We're
I've
looking
looked
at like a
through
dice
I've looked
roll
through
with some
the sequence of
modifications.
play, right? And I looked through assaults and hasty attacks, and I've read the rules for those things. And I don't. There's nothing there's more nuance than the original system, but more nuance is more detail as well. And it's all doctrine based, right? So it's
Yeah.
all makes sense, but it's not hard. It's not like they're saying, well, you've got to take this unit and then assess whether or not they have got the morale to go attack, and whether they have the air support and the artillery and this, that, and the other, and 15 other things. I will say that there's probably a little excess detail on the artillery. There's, I think, three different types of artillery, and then one of them has two subtypes underneath that, which is probably a little overkill. I don't know, but it all ends up being modifiers and bits and pieces like that, range based things. So I don't know. It's not. I don't think you're. What I'm trying to say here, Gimpy, is I don't feel like you're going to, however you decide to learn the rules, that you're not going to go, wow, that was the most complex game I ever played. I would argue that OCS is way more complicated because of the interplay between the mechanics of the systems and the way that combat and movement and mode and supply and all those things all come together, and how you use all the different things together makes it a complex game. There may be that level of complexity in this, but I haven't got to that stage in the game yet. But I don't feel like it's overwhelming, and that's why I was surprised that the rule book ended up being 146 pages. And I'm curious about why and where that came from, and what value does that add other than attempting in a extremely, and I'll use the word extreme, extremely verbose manner with
You know,
many words to explain a very simple thing.
it's like historicity.
It's like historicity. You could have used historicity, but instead, I desire to attain the most particular and involved historically accurate simulation. You could have just said historicity.
Well, you can't have every aspect of the game being a slog, right? If you've got
Yeah.
Right.
a in-depth movement system where there's points and hidden points and it can be moved around and there's a lot of nuance and stuff going on there, you're not just okay, I've got 10 movement points, I'm moving here. It's not streamlined to that level, but then combat is the same way, and then assaults are the same way, and then
And
air
the air
strikes.
war, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you feel like you're fighting the game or slogging through the rules on every single aspect of the game, I think it can kind of take that fun out of it.
Mm.
Yeah. I think I'm not sure that the game does that, but it certainly has added some meat on the bone to the air war, for instance. So I've got a couple of buddies who are going through. They got the games a week before me, so I've got a lot of feedback from them, and they're all hardcore, what I would call hardcore war gamers who one one of them just has already sold the game on, right? Because he's just like 146 pages, that's bullshit, I'm not playing, right? He just doesn't want to deal with it. My other buddy is like, well, look, let's find out what the deal is, and which is probably a more rational approach. Uh, and that, oh my gosh, and speaking of complex, right? So there's a level there with that system. But I the big question I had is, what's the extra value we get out of the extra words. And I question the not Bruce's verbosity. He has that, right? That's just who he is. But the developer or the company should have said, you know what, let's time out. This whole thing has blown up to 146 pages. That is now a marketing problem because the fact that you've got to disclaim the very first sentence in the whole rule book says even seasoned grognards may be dissuaded by the massive rule book.
Well,
Okay.
you were. You
Well,
were
right.
pretty quick.
I'm not dissuaded by it. I'm disappointed and
Yeah,
surprised
yeah.
that
But
it
here's the thing,
Even
though. You
hold on,
never
hold
heard
on,
me
hold on, Mo.
say.
Even a veteran gamer is going to experience a sinking feeling weighing this book in
sinking
his
feeling.
hand
What the
and
fuck?
wondering just how long it's going to take to digest these rules. Take heart! 3 things lighten this load.
Take heart.
The first 15% of the rule book simply describes the components. Really, 15% describing the components?
That's called justification.
Yeah.
That's counters, yeah. Another 25% consists of detailed examples of play and design play notes. Only 60% of this rule book is actual rules, and
Okay.
some 10
Okay.
pages are optional. What?
Quick math. What's 60% of 146?
Fuck if I
Don't
Like
don't
90.
worry. Don't worry. I'll tell you. It's 88, right?
Yeah, 90.
There's,
I said 90. Yeah.
yeah. There's 88 pages of rules. The original rule book, I believe, if you exclude the charts and designer notes, was somewhere in the order of 12.5 pages because I looked it up, and the advanced rules were about 8, right? So
Like
where
20 and a half, 21, something like that. Yeah.
21. So what's the extra 4x of rules? Font, diagrams, I got it, but there's actually twice the number of words. Where's the value add for that? And if it's in great gameplay and experience and historicity, then that's fabulous. But my point was about the marketing issue was let's understand why we're doing what we're doing, and could we present all of that in a different package, a separate example book, smaller diagrams, you, cute Stuka. And so, are there ways that we could present the information that make it more consumable, so that as a buyer, I go, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, it's a 60-page rule book and a 40-page this, and wow, it's got 40 pages of examples. That's awesome. See, that's a different thing than saying it's got 146 pages of rules. It mentally, I go
Well,
46
here's the
pages.
thing. You don't recall ever hearing me say it's going to be a 150-page rule book because I know I said that
I know.
several
I've
times.
heard you say that. Yeah.
I
Yeah,
said
I
people are
don't.
going to be a
I
little
don't.
surprised when they see a 150-page rule book because there's a bit of effort that needs to be put into this game. I mean, it's he even says in the rules himself, and he's said it in interviews as well. He's leading this game, and he always intended it to be more simulation than game. So it's going to have more of a simulation aspect,
Well,
which
we'll see.
immediately is going to turn you off because when it came to like less than 60 miles and all, you were like, "This is too much simulation to me."
Oh
This
yeah,
is
yeah.
yeah, you know,
But
and that's not what you want, which is fine. You know, not everybody wants simulation,
sure,
not every,
sure.
whatever. So
I don't know that this is, and I don't know yet, because I haven't played it. I don't know that it's heavier on simulation than say C3I. C3I's biggest issue to me was that you had a massive number of DRMs, die roll modifiers, and things for combat or movement or changing mode and all this sort of stuff. And whether you got a 3-to-1 or a 4-to-1 or a +5 or a +12, you pretty much got the same freaking result. So you went through all the bullshit going through, and I'm sorry, Fabrizio, right? He knows I don't like the system, but you go through all that effort to do the work, and it doesn't.
there's no magic
There's no
conclusion.
magic, and it doesn't feel
Yeah.
like you did anything. Oh, I got the XYZ
There
DRM.
should be more. There should be more penalties rather than bonuses.
Yeah, whether it's
Because
bonuses or penalties, it just didn't
yeah,
feel like I was
I mean, it
getting
wasn't
anything.
there. Yeah, it's not there. I mean, it's still a great system, I think. But then again, I like the whole idea of trying to work through the whole entire tactical slash operational problem of moving a large amount of troops from
Sure.
one spot to the
Sure.
other and
No.
getting there
Sure.
in the right posture at the right time, all of them together. I like that whole idea.
Yep.
And that's what this is also trying to do as well, with the added aspect of the excuse me, the hidden movement, where
Right.
you can use it both ways, not only just solitaire, but you can use it when you're playing against each other,
Yep.
where I
Yep.
don't know what you got and I don't even know what the hell I got, because that's really true, because you may have sent that regiment over here, but one of the battalions got hung up in a what do you call it, a traffic jam, or
Right.
several units fell out, or several company fell out because of you know mechanical issues, things like that. Those happen in the real world. So
Yep.
you're going to end up going into this meeting engagement, or this engagement you're running into, this attack you're kicking off with under strength unit than what you had planned for. And I think that's kind of neat. I like how that whole thing works. But I think it's going to be worth it when people put the effort into it. I have to put the effort into it as well. It's not like I know the
No.
system. I don't.
No.
But
Yeah.
it comes down to how much do you want to get into, how much does the theme attach to you? Me, it's hypothetical World War III. I'm all in.
Right. And I unquestionably I ordered the game. Didn't think twice about it, because the game I played originally, and I played 4 times opposed, twice, 2 or 3 times solo. It's a really good game because of that variable power, combat strength mechanic, and the
Mhm.
orders mechanic, and all the rest of it. I love the way they did a lot of the things in the original game. Go back to my original point, is that I'm questioning the presentation of how things were done, and why it took so many words to express what so far feels pretty much like the same game. Yeah, but that's
That's
different.
ASL. I mean,
ASL's
they have a
That's a
bookshelf
it's
of
not even a
games.
religion; it's a cult.
Yeah,
yeah, that's a totally different thing. It's you're dealing with
that's crack on cardboard.
well, you're
Here,
dealing with theater specifics there, right?
yeah, yeah,
This is trying to be a game system, like let's OCS and TCS and BCS and the 7H system and all the rest of it. That you look at the um, well, let's look at DNASIC, right? I mean, and there's a lot of years that have gone into the revisions, but even for the very beginning, he only said things once, and you knew that if it was said first, it took precedence over what came second. So it's a philosophy of rule writing, and I just think, like, I was talking to Fred today online about using the word can and may, right? You can do something, you may do something. One's a possibility and one's a
yeah.
permission. And there's two different, that can change if
But
you're a
both
rules
implies
writer.
choice.
Yes.
They both imply choice, but one says yes you can, and one says you might want to. And in
Yeah.
some of the places where Bruce has used can, it really should be may, because it's implies you should versus you can't versus you might want to. So I can't tell you how many
No, that's a good point, because can and may are two of those really bad words for rule books,
yeah, and
because you can easily trip someone up with those.
yeah. So despite the fact that cannot and Canadian are also caught when you search the PDF, there's 1107 cans in there, right? So that's a lot, and
It's a lot of cases.
a lot of cases, and I feel like it might be would have been more thoughtful to have used may in some instances. There was one rule in particular, it's like with the air war stuff, you could do certain things that I would have said may. But look, that's nitpicky stuff, but it's just, if you're
You know
putting
why
that much
you use
effort into
can over
making a
may?
rule book, go
You
ahead.
know why you
Sorry.
use can over may when it comes to writing a rule book? Because every time you write may, it's going to be capitalized by the freaking spell checker, so it's easier to just write can.
Yeah, there's the thing, right?
Here's one thing before I forget, I wanted to go back to what Nordic was saying. Never understood the reasoning behind having optional advanced and non-advanced rules. Just make the rules and be done with it. I want to learn the whole game, not bits and pieces.
Right,
2 words for you. Next war. Basic game, advanced game.
right.
You play that game, you'll see why there is a basic game and an advanced game. Now, you could argue, and I would agree, that you could just make next war be one rule system,
Sure.
but then you're talking about another one that's a big effort to learn. That
Yeah,
is again,
you're forcing a lot on someone if they
drinking
don't
out of a
know.
fire hose at that point.
Yeah,
Well, there's
yeah, and that
sometimes that specific rules, it could add a little bit to it if you want to get nitpicky on it, but they put it in
It's
the
usually
optional 'cause,
minor.
yeah, you don't have to worry about it. For me, every weather rule is always optional. Doesn't matter if it's what part of the rule book it is. Weather's optional. Just leave it.
Well, if it's historical, you can easily make it optional just by saying, no, what was the weather on that day historically? I'm going with that. And that's
right.
why a lot of games will
Weather's
do that.
clear.
Historically, it was rainy. Historically, it was snowing, whatever. And then if you want to jack with things, you could say, you know what, maybe today's icy, tomorrow's, clear. And then it's foggy and overcast, snowy, whatever on the next day. And all of that impacts things like the air war, which is important for reconnaissance and for airstrikes, things like that. Even World War II. So that would affect how the ground game goes.
Well,
And
weather was a bigger
people want that.
effect in World War II than it is now, or would
Yeah.
be in
Yeah.
80s even.
Yeah, well, 80s, but you got all your weather capable units versus non-capable units, even in the 80s, right?
Yeah. Except for rotary. I mean, then it would screw with the helos a lot more than it would.
Yeah, yeah,
Because nappity earth flying in the fog. Nah.
yeah. Fog and rain and
Yeah.
all that murky German weather, right?
Well,
Yeah.
honestly, Kev, what it sounds like you're really saying is the rulebook needed an editor to pare it down. That's really the end of it.
Look, real, yeah, exactly,
Just to
exactly.
bring it to a slimmer, streamlined scope and get rid
And
of
I,
this superfluous
I
crap.
really, the only thing I'll take Bruce to task with is I suspect there's some level of intellectual, I'll use the word confidence, right? Intellectual confidence in his ability to write rules more effectively than anybody else, or something along that vein. But if he had let someone else tune the rule definitions, you probably could have got a much leaner rule book, number one, and then number two, the presentation and the formatting and all the rest of it, that's a developer and editor's job to really fine tune. First of all, how do we want to present it, given that there's a massive amount of examples and some quite silly designer notes in the rule book.
But why would Bill give him just carte blanche like that?
Well, I think that's a Compass philosophy, though, right? I'm not, and this is not a dig on Compass. Compass kind of says, from what I see, the games I bought, and they're becoming like my go-to wargaming company. So I'm saying this with love. It's kind of like you bring the game to me, and I'll have my guy, whether it's John Kranz or whoever it is, look at the game and give it a thumbs up, thumbs down, and do some sort of pseudo developer stuff. But there's not the level of structure that, say, GMT has with its war games, right? Where they assign a developer and there's a rules team and an art team. I don't know if all that happens in the background, but it certainly feels like more bad shit slips through with Compass. And when I say bad stuff, I mean, like, don't.
Oh, come
Why
on.
not?
There's
Why didn't-
4 pages of errata with this thing.
Well, it's actually there's
It's more than that. It's like
there's
7. But the
it's
thing is,
7 at 10 point or 12 point font or 10 point font. So it's actually if you pump it up to the font of the rule book, it's already up to 10 or 12 pages.
but here's the thing. Here's the thing. That's like the trigger word of trigger words is errata. It's like point to a war game without errata. Number one. Number two.
That's not fair.
Look at this. No, that's very fair because humans make these things and mistakes happen at so many mistakes can happen at so many steps along the way.
Yeah.
Some that's not even the designer's fault. Some that is not even the company's fault. It could be on the other end, the production, because I've seen all of that happen. So I know. And
The Adam Starkweather effect. It's not my fault. The whole rule book for Korea was wrong.
yeah, no, I'm not going there. But I mean, it's one of those things where there are a lot of steps where things can break.
Sure.
But in fairness, you got the game in your hand, and here's the errata. Not you got the game in your hand 6 months, a year later. Hey, we're still working on an errata
Yeah,
document.
but dude,
So
that's
that
fault.
is actually good.
Yeah, but that's yes, that's good, and but the map era. First of all, use a fucking Sharpie and just
Yeah, it's too small.
put a line there and don't worry about it. But that sort of stuff should not have been missed, given Bruce's fascination with fixing the map to make it be more historically accurate, which is what he said in the interview with me, was that he found all this stuff out from all these Canadian guys, that all this stuff was wrong with his game, and he wanted to make sure he
Mhm.
fixed it all. And then you go miss this road, right? Which is, it's neither here nor there.
But
Yeah,
why
it's
is it
such
all
a.
put on Bruce though? I mean, you keep saying Bruce,
But
Bruce,
here's the
Bruce,
thing
Bruce,
on
Bruce.
that.
Where's
Bruce is the one. I
You're
put
the
it on
okay?
designer.
Bruce.
You get it. Yeah.
But the
It's his
publisher
responsibility.
needs to have someone coming behind him. Needs that fresh set of eyes.
Well, yeah.
Well,
Well,
here's the thing. That's actually the artist more than anyone else, although there's multiple people in the project. But
sure.
let me say, in that regard, it's very easy to leave off, especially the small section of road there is, by just unclicking a layer. If you uncheck that layer, it disappears off the final image. So it's one of those mistakes that in haste, I'm not saying this is what happened. I don't know, but it could have easily been done in haste. So like, oh, click here, boom, just save. All right, we're done.
Yep.
And you end up turning off one of the layers,
Yep.
and it's like you just turned off a road. But at least it's on the edge, and it's a road that really you're not even going to notice. So you just use a Sharpie. Even my crappy
Yeah,
art.
exactly.
That's what I did because I'm not
That's
going to
what
put
I'm
a,
gonna do.
a sticker
Yeah.
on there. But for those people who didn't want to do that, they give the sticker option.
Yeah, the
So,
last thing I want to do is put a freaking sticker on the map and then have it be like slightly off, and then you
but
go to check.
if they didn't do that, people would say, "Why didn't they just give us a sticker?" So it's
Right.
kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Oh,
People aren't
sure,
going to be
sure,
happy.
sure. So the errata stuff, I'm not fussed. The errata came in the box. I think that's fine. That happens all the time with decision games, titles, and things like that. I was surprised that he came out with a second set of errata that then goes, well, I changed the sequence of play, right? I mean, come on,
Yeah.
like that's, to me, that's kind of like, really, why did that not come up in playtesting? I don't know how long we want to talk about this, but I look, I look at it, I look at
Hmm.
Red Strike,
Hmm.
which is, I now have dozens of people telling me that despite the CSR award, the air war is an unplayable mess, and that it's so overburdened and so off scale that it's just unplayable. I'm wondering what's going on with modern war game Chrome and rules overhead, that we're going into this like mega deep dive on massive rule books, massive Chrome. So it's a thing that's kind of like, it's just happened in the last 3 or 4 games that have come out,
Hmm.
that it's kind of like, who did the marketing analysis, market research to go, everyone wants to do 3 or 4 combat operations with the same aircraft each turn for 300 aircraft counters on the map, or who wants to sit down and read a 146-page rule book to play a game that's on a tiny sliver of World War III?
Well, I
I'm
would
looking
think that
confused.
part of it is this isn't World War II anymore. Now it's hypothetical World War III. So you're jumping up in technology with instead of prop planes that had where you
Sure.
had minimal close air support when you do in comparison
Right.
to the 80s
Right.
where you'd have a lot of assets that would be chopped to different units and that would all be all this artillery fire, rockets and air
Mhm.
helicopters and all that stuff. So people want to play in those realms that they haven't played with before. So instead of just saying you're going to add an extra five, you're going to attack with a 5 strength artillery, or you're going to add a +2 for your air or whatever. They want to add in
Mhm.
a
Mhm.
deeper, detailed system. Now, if you want a detailed air system, you play something like not Red Strike. I've got Red Strike in the brain, and it's not Red
Hundred
Strike.
Iron Sky.
What's
Oh
that?
no, the
The other Red.
GMT game.
Yes, and I can't think of
Yeah,
her right now. The
yeah.
because I got Red Strike on the brain.
Red
You play
Storm.
that Red Storm, where it's literally the air war, and
Right.
that's the
Right.
the ground stuff is very abstract.
Air war simulation. Right.
Yes, so you can do that. Red Strike is ambitious in that he's trying to. I think it's overly ambitious in the fact that he's trying to have a highly detailed air war. And the problem with that is, unless you're playing with teams where, you know what, Nate, you wanted to be the Airedale, so you're going to run all the air missions. We're going to be running the ground stuff over here. You and someone else are going to run the air missions. We're going to have another one or two guys do the Navy, the naval stuff. We're going to do the ground, and everybody can play their own game that affects the other aspects too, which is the hard thing because you have a lot of detail in the air. Well, then the ground guys got to wait because you have to
Right. Right.
make all those things
Yeah.
work. Where in reality, that's all happening simultaneously,
Yeah.
and it's
A
tough.
team of 8 played for 3 days and got 2 turns done.
Yeah.
So I mean, I question who's going to get a full game play of Red Strike. Now, that said, I think the challenge with that game is that they took the Gulf Strike system, right? It's basically Herman's system, and the Gulf War One had very little aircraft, and all of the aircraft that there were all U.S. forces.
Yeah.
On relative to the whole war going on, you could run all those multiple cycles pretty effectively with, I don't know how many counters I've got. I can't reach it from here, but you've got maybe 50 air war counters or air counters for the Allies or for the U.S. forces, so
Mhm.
that's manageable. When you start doing 300 counters for the NATO and 300 counters or 500 counters or whatever it is for the Soviets, and then use the same system where you're applying 3 air action cycles every turn because of the scale of the unit you've chosen, it all starts to break down and become unwieldy. And it's one of those things where you go, okay, maybe I should take a step back and go, let me upscale this and make it whatever the next level up is from a squadron. I don't
Well,
know how
that
many.
makes it sound like you're saying you could have up to like 900 air actions being conducted on a single turn. If you're
Yeah,
talking about like
you
three,
you
four
you can,
actions per aircraft.
it's three it's okay. I've got my notes somewhere, but I believe for NATO, it's 300 air actions per turn potential.
But here's the
But
thing.
you got to pick the counter up from the base you took it from,
Mhm.
move it to where it's going to go, where it's going to do its action, and then make sure you put it back in the right spot, right?
Yeah.
Right. So there's this physical aspect of it as well. Well, where the hell is that base? Blah 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 blah. I mean, and then there's the die rolling for it all, the DRMs, and all the rest of it, and it becomes a massively laborious exercise. Uh,
That
anyway,
actually
that's
sounds a little bit like Sacred Oil because it had all
Mhm.
the individual airports for the
sacred oils,
aircraft.
and yeah,
It wasn't as unwieldy because you had smaller amounts of aircraft, but it still
right,
got a little cumbersome because you had to remember I'm coming from here, I'm
yeah,
going to
yeah,
there, coming back to here.
yeah,
Well, that's the thing too. Is you're now talking about a conflict, a hypothetical, no conflict again, but still a conflict that there would have been. The air war would have been a very significant component to the overall fight. Whereas like Desert Storm, it's like the air to air war was over in about, I don't know, 7-8 minutes. I mean, it was just you run in, you knock out their 3 aircraft, they're done. Now it's a one sided several thousand sorties of bombing, bombing, bombing.
right.
Okay, that's really boring. But here, where the air war, especially at the very beginning, would have been highly significant, and not even getting into the rotary, just the fast movers, they would have been running strikes on each other, dogfights, things like that. That would have been really critical in the opening phases, especially. Then the attrition would have gone very high, just like we see it in Next War. Whereas you get into that air component, it's like, wow, I got a whole bunch of aircraft. Oh shit, I've got 6 left.
Oh,
I,
sure.
I
So it
overcommitted everything.
shrinks right down, right? It goes much
Yeah.
faster.
The
But
attrition is extremely fast. It's very high. And I think that's the same thing here. But it's getting there. That's it could
right.
be problematic for people, but it's
Yeah,
also a significant part of the conflict.
yeah. Who got to turn 5 on Red Strike with the whole thing, right? I mean,
Did I
that's
hear
the
you right that it won the CSRs for its
yes,
Yes.
category?
Yeah.
Uh,
yeah.
don't blame me.
Well,
I didn't vote for it.
it's big and it's beautiful. I get it, but I think a lot of people who voted for it went, "Wow, it's got to be fabulous. It's huge," and I think it's a fantastic production.
It won
And,
on popularity, I think,
oh,
and name
totally.
recognition.
Yeah, 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 and good for them. Like I, I would love to see some revisions or optional rules for the air war because
And
it's
there very well could be. Now, here's something that I wanted to hit on. Nordic Maelstrom says, I'd like to see more games using variable combat strength chit draws. That would make playing games solo so much easier and more fun, not knowing what the unit strength points are. And I think not only for solitaire, I think that would be the way to go for all war
Hold
games,
on, hold on.
in my
Is he
opinion. I
talking about
really
kind of
think.
like enemy action Ardennes, and that there's varying power depending on what units you bring
Yeah, I
into the
would think more
conflict?
like Boog River, which we always go back to that as the example because that was one that Kevin and I played where it was variable strength chit every time. Every time you drew, yeah, I could outnumber you 3-1. Well, if I get a 1 multiplier and you get a 3 or 4, oh shit, now it's even, or you're ahead. So, and I
yeah,
think that's really cool because that is a very simplistic way, but effective at modeling combat effectiveness in that fight. That's why I think it's important to change it out each time because maybe
right.
this time my guys, theoretically, abstractly, my guys didn't come in at the best approach and you guys had a better angle on me. So you got the jump. Next time we come in, I have a better angle and, something like that. And I
Right.
But
think
that
that's
sounds
where
like it's
it
just
helps.
pure random, right? Just a pure
It's
randomness.
it randomizes, but you also base it on classes too, like A, B, and C. It's broken down. So there's
It's like the Victory in the West system, right?
yes,
Yeah.
I played
yeah,
either of those.
there's reasons why you get those
Is there
multipliers.
like you're saying there's a pool you could draw from that's like a better
Yes.
Yes,
pool, better? Okay,
Yeah.
that I'm good with.
Quality. Yeah. Each counter would have an A, B, and a C on the back of it, and it would go across, 9, 7, 5, and depending on whether you're an A, B, or a C, you would get the 9, the 7, or the 5 as your combat value. Now, historicity fans would
mm,
say that,
I want a
that's called
T-shirt for
accurate.
that word, man.
yeah, I love historicity. Big board historicity fan. I you there are you go talk to Jack Rady like, oh well, there's no way you can have the variable combat power because the Russians were uber, right? Because all the Russians always win when Jack designs games. But hey, whatever.
Well, no, that
Um,
makes sense because that's you can control a certain amount of the chaos. You can
you
mitigate
do
the
the
factors.
variability, right? You
Yeah,
Yeah.
can narrow those bands of capability to make sense. Yeah,
See, that's
yeah.
why
The
I always
swings are not going to be
loved.
massively wild, but they
right.
can be wild.
That's exactly why I loved Enemy Action Ardennes so much. Is that if you made smart choices, had combined arms, had artillery or air support, it made the chit draws better. Occasionally, chaos factors would roll against you and you'd lose, even if you chose well. But you could mitigate the factors by making good choices in your game.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now there is another one here. John was saying, "How do you feel about GMT charging for errata counters while Compass provides it for free?"
Yeah, I
That's a
answered him on that one.
whole nother thing because charging how? Charging you to buy them or charging you for them in their magazine?
Magazine.
And yes, make no bones about it. It is their magazine. I mean, yeah, okay, it's Rogers magazine, but it's all GMT products. So it's
Yep.
GMT's magazine. I mean, it's just the
Yep.
way it is. It's like saying,
Yep.
I mean, it's a Compass magazine, so you can't say Paper Wars is not a Compass. It's the House organ, but
Sure.
and the same for like Decision and stuff. The only one, which is one of the things I just did a video today, War Diary. That's on its own thing. It only just does war games and
Yep.
history. It
Yep.
doesn't have, it's not like, hey, here's all our games, and we're going to only talk about our games or primarily. So, and then, oh, what's this? An updated rule book or playbook for Banish All Their Fears. I heard about this. What happened with that? They had a broken playbook or something for that.
Oh, but it's GMT. They can do no wrong. So who cares?
Well, in reference to the question, I kind of agree. The point, if they screw up to the point that they need to put out a substantial amount of errata counters, then they should send the customer that stuff, requiring you to buy. What does C3I cost now? $40.
Yeah, it's like 45 or something. I
Yeah.
haven't bought
Yeah.
it in a couple
Yeah,
of
it's
years.
expensive.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
requiring you to buy a almost game cost magazine to get the replacement pieces is a bit much. If
Yeah.
it's
Well,
a counter, provide the PDF for free and put it in there in case someone does want to get it. But if they have a lot, I think they should provide it.
No, I've not played Tony Montana, which is what I always call that game. I don't call it Tanto Monta. I call it Tony Montana.
no idea
Say
what it
hello
is.
to my little friend.
What is it?
It's Here I Stand. That
No.
Here I Stand, Virgin Queen. That it's
Okay,
like
whatever. Yeah, next.
not even on my radar.
Yeah.
Um,
What? Yeah. So as far as I love the fact Compass gives the complementary counters. It makes perfect sense that you should do that because it's your era. I think these GMTs in that going to this, it's basically the price of shipping is what they're charging, but still you're charging for your mistake. And
yeah.
if you have that many mistakes that you need to do a counter sheet every year, I'm kind of like, well, let's have a look at what we're doing wrong here, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things where I think, in fairness to the customer, you make a mistake, do just like what Compass does. And the one thing that Compass can be, people can be unhappy with Compass on, the only thing really I think that they can consistently be unhappy with is the fact they don't tell you that your game shipped. But informed delivery, I just got it. There was a label created in Hartford, Connecticut. Well, there you go. That's the game. I know it's coming in from Compass.
I
in a
don't
few
even
days,
get the notification of a label created. I just
Really? You don't
come
get
home.
any? I get all of that.
No,
I get texts and everything else.
nothing.
I've always had that.
It's just
I've had
happy
that thing for
surprise
years.
coming to my mailbox. Oh
Yeah.
my God. Speaking of which, I'm going to kill my mailman. I'm going to wait up there and I'm going to pick him off the next time he goes up there because we have those. I mentioned to you, I got the
You better
deal.
hope that your mailman doesn't have like a heart attack walking the route or something. You'll be like, I know a guy online said he's going to take him out.
The dude, we've got that communal mailbox thing, right?
Yeah.
So you've got the small little rectangle box and then the parcel boxes. This idiot won't put my damn game in the parcel box. He'll squeeze it right in the letterbox and it fits perfectly. Like there's a millimeter on each side. The problem is he gets to open it, so he has access to pull that stuff out. 2-3 times now I've had to take and dig my knife in and slowly drag the box out because I couldn't get it out any other way. I'm telling you, I'm gonna wait up there and I'm gonna just take out his kneecaps the next time he comes up there. Retire his ass early. He has pissed me off to no end. Going postal on the post. He came to my house to deliver some package, some Kickstarter arrived, whatever it was. He rings the doorbell, and by the time I get up from the couch and get to the door, he was back in his postal truck and gone. I jumped in my van and tried to chase him down. I was going to run him to the edge of the road and get my damn package. He didn't even leave the little slip. I had to go to the post office and tell them my name and address, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we got your package here." And dude had left me nothing. Oh, here's the. He just rang the doorbell and ran. She
Well, that escalated quickly.
Yeah.
she
Yeah.
knew who I was talking about when I told her the
Moved
general
to
area.
Texas, dude. Moved
Yeah.
to Texas. So we moved into a house here like 4, 5, 6 weeks ago now, I guess. And I was down at where the new driveway is, and the mailman came, so I jumped out, and we don't have a letterbox up or anything like that. And he said, "Now, do you want me to come up the driveway and drop off packages, or would you like me to, like, to still you're going to put a new letterbox in? What are you going to do with the old letterbox?" Like, he was like, "How can I help you get your mail?" And I was like, "Dude, are you on crack or something? Because you're not like your average mail guy." And he's like, "Oh, I just want to make sure that you get everything you need and that it's safely delivered." And we were living in the barn, and I said, "Look, don't worry about it, man. Just keep delivering exactly where you are until you see a new sign, with the street number on it. Don't worry about
Dude,
it.
I swear to God, it's our city workers. I had, not to get sidetracked too much, but my neighbor had a yard guy out spraying his yard, and his truck was slightly blocking off my trash can. And the trash guys came, got every trash can but mine, left it. Even though I know the little assholes could see it, they just didn't want to walk around the truck to get it. So, I emailed the city and I was pissed off with them. But my neighbor was outside talking to the yard dude that was taking care of his yard and saw them leave my trash can. So I sent him a message. I'm like, look, since you screwed the pooch and caused my bin not to be picked up, I'm going to be using yours for the next week. You need to put your garbage in your garage until then. I don't care. You caused me the problem. You're going to fix the problem.
Oh, how'd that go down?
He came over and he actually was crying to me. He's like, I feel like you're bullying me. And I'm like, I feel like you're right.
Really?
Yeah.
A grown man said to another man, I think you're bullying me.
Yeah. Well, he's from Jersey. He's very in touch with his feelings.
Oh God!
I'm from Jersey. I'd be like, what's your fucking problem, dude?
Yeah, just smack that guy in the face.
Yeah, it didn't.
Different era today. So now this goes to the playbook issue that I was asking Nordic before about Banish All Their Fears. They omitted whole sections of the playbook when it comes to where the units are placed on the map and also what battles the units are for. It was a real nightmare trying to figure it out. And I said, F it. Holy shit, that's unplayable.
What's going on with GMT? Is that GMT? Is that the GMT
That's
game?
GMT. That was GMT, yeah.
Oh, but they're perfect.
All of GMT's update kits are annoying.
Yeah, well, there is that, right?
Rush the production, then charge the buyer extra to make it right. That's the thing. And in fairness to, like I said, to all publishers, mistakes will happen. There's always going to be errata, unfortunately, for various reasons. But again, this goes back to the original question of errata counters. You make a mistake, just get the errata counters printed and just send them to everybody. It's going to cost you an extra couple bucks. Mailing is what, 80 cents or something like that, $1. Right. The counters cost 25 cents a sheet, 50 cents a sheet.
Yep.
So it costs you $1.50. And then you're going to be cutting out only a certain amount of counters, so you get multiple mailings per one sheet, unless it's a full sheet. You're winning over people you're winning loyalty by just doing something like that. Plus, it's the good moral thing to do from a business perspective. So,
right. Well, it's funny how often that, and I guess it's probably GMT fanboys pile on Compass whenever there's the most modest error,
Yeah,
they really just pile on, and it's not that I've become like this Compass fanboy. Everybody does things to the best of their ability, is what I believe. But you screw stuff up, I want to call you out on it. Or if you do things that I don't really agree with, then I'll just say it. But I feel like
long rule books.
Well, too long. You have done this the wrong way. I feel like Compass listens to their customers and tries extra hard to get it right. Whereas GMT kind of says, yeah, we know that war games are part of our business, but they're not our business. And we really want to be serving and dealing with somebody else. And you should just shut up and buy the second edition or buy the errata counters.
But you gotta agree.
That's kind of how I feel about most
muted.
of the games that come out.
I was trying
Nordic.
to
Hold on. Time out.
What?
Nordic. Fuck you. I'm not emotionally fragile.
Very
if I was
fragile.
emotionally fragile, I'd break down right now.
No, Kev, you
just
got
kidding,
to agree with me here, man, that Compass could just take a breath. Just slow the pace just a little bit. They are just go, getting all these games out. And I feel like their errata could
if they took a breath, people would say, my God, they used to be putting out so many games. Why aren't we seeing more games?
I'm not even talking like a huge breath, just a little baby breath. Just slow it down just a little bit and ease into things, because I think they're going so fast and taking on so many projects that they're increasing the amount of mistakes that they're making.
Yep.
That wouldn't happen if they just eased back just a little.
Well,
what are you giggling about, Mo?
The comment, because I said Nordic, I said fuck you, and then he goes, name the time and place, Mo, but I have to warn you, I don't swing that way. And it's like, I swing both ways, left and right.
Yeah, I think they could pause on the larger, more complex games and then just stick in a Greg Smith game in between, right? Because
Oh my
he
God,
can
the guy makes a
he
new game
punches
every
out
6 days.
high quality stuff, right?
Yeah.
Very rarely have any issues. So just put one of those out every month, and then let these other higher end, more complex games mature and gestate.
Age.
Yeah, like Contact Now. They need to really let that one take its time and
It's only
simmer
been
in the pot.
100,000 years.
What are they at now? 14 years, I really think.
I don't know. Steve was here before. I don't know if he's still here, but I know that he can give us a time because I know we were talking. I had talked to him about editing rules for that in 2018 at WBC when
You
it
know,
was
I've
with
still
Block and
got
Load.
that copy.
Oh, you still have that copy?
Yeah, remember he
Really?
sent me home
Nice.
with a little prototype? I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
think it's anywhere near accurate between then and
Oh
Oh
gosh,
no,
no.
I'm
now.
sure it's
I saw the
changed one or two things. I'm sure.
Yeah, well, it now has rules for tanks.
Wow.
Which is the thing. Um, Poor guy.
I want to see the game actually just released. It's
Well, it's
been
easy.
long enough.
Just grab ASL and Combat Commander, and there's one other game it reminds me of, and then just jam all the rules together, and then you'll have the game.
There you go. And Frank was saying that every single game has errata, and that he likes Compass's policy of shipping corrected counters. I think everybody likes that
You know,
because it's just a good. You get a good feeling from a company that says, "Hey, we screwed up. Here's the
I got a
corrected
feeling,
thing."
and it's nice.
hold
Yes.
up. Speaking of games that or companies that don't have a whole lot of errata, Academy Games. I mean, they
Oh
work
God,
their no. But
here you
there's
go
a
again.
purpose. There's a purpose to this.
Academy
And
Games
I
that
wanted to
comes out
ask
with one
Mo,
game every 11 years.
did you get an email from them months back about paying the $5 shipping fee for the solo module for Agents of Mayhem? Remember, because you showed me the prototype for that at
Yeah.
WBC way
Yeah.
back when, little
Yeah.
mini with a finger. All
Yeah.
right, I got the
I
game.
remember
And
that.
I honestly thought it was underrated. I really liked the game. I had fun with it. But they never released the solo module that was promised. They had a prototype for it that I covered 4 years ago.
Yeah.
I think Trump was still in office when that came out. But something like 6 months ago, 8 months ago, they sent out an email. Hey, pay $5, which I was already like, you guys are getting bad blood by asking people to do this because they already paid shipping. But okay, I'll pay the $5. And I haven't heard anything since. I'm like, why would you charge everyone $5 for the solo module for that game and not ship it? Why would you not do that when you were right
Yeah.
there getting ready to ship it? Did you get the game? Did you get the solo module? Or,
No, I
so
didn't.
you haven't
No, I haven't
experienced
seen
this?
it. No. But I mean, we've talked about them. I know you especially have when it comes to their games, the quality of their games. They are one of the better ones when it comes to lacking errata, a lot of
Yeah.
errata. They still have errata, but they also change their games, which is what they did with their tactical series too, as well. And they went through what, 3 iterations of it. They're like on the third edition of the rules on that now, and all of them make sense for the changes they made, which is cool. But at the same time, conflict of heroes. But the same time, it's like they've been talking about coming out with the next version for at least 5-6 years, if not longer, probably longer. So it's like, where is it? There is a point where people stop caring, and there's been a lot of blowback and pushback on DVG for their mistakes that they've had lately, and they've dropped off for a lot of people. And right now, yeah, okay, war games are still a niche group, but at the same time, if you turn people away, they're going to just bypass you,
Well,
and you're going to end up dropping off.
I talked about DVG, and I actually went to their Kickstarter page and all the
Hmm.
different projects they had, and I laid them out, and I was like, right about the time that switch was made, and there was the change in management, and you can see the Kickstarter slowly dip down to where now they used to have a Kickstarter run and they'd hit 400, 500, 600%, and now they hit 140, 150%. No hugging, no crying, no touching emotions. But yeah,
Why do I feel like we have to hug it out and have a good cry after this? Nah, just have a good glass of whiskey.
they they have not been open with the public. They haven't taken advantage of all the free marketing that is available out there, and I think that's caused them some bad blood. You know, they could get more publicity, but they just don't have people covering their stuff anymore. I don't
No.
cover it. You don't cover it. I know
Mm-mm.
Kev doesn't cover it. So who's covering their games now?
I don't know, but so Steve is saying hopefully it's not another 14 more years. It's hard to get all those rules jammed together. So do we not have the rules done? I thought this thing was ready to go to publication. So give us an update if you can on that, Steve.
Wow. Yeah, I just
And
feel sorry for that. That's a shame. Yeah,
good point there. Lost a
they,
lot of the momentum.
No, they
they can be tamed.
switched. They switched.
Conflictive rule sets.
They had the big Kickstarter they did for the game Stellaris. They got the IP, and Stellaris is huge, especially for people who are into sci-fi strategy games.
So Mandarin Mike says DVG doesn't support most of their smaller but interesting Kickstarters. Only the big series are the ones that they can milk for expansions. That's true, and that's one of the things that is frustrating, like with the Warfighter series,
Yep.
which I thought was a fun series, but at the same time, it's like, why do I have to get 23 different expansions? Okay, I might be exaggerating by a few, but I mean, there's like 10, 15 expansions.
It was
And
stupid.
granted, you're getting, well, here's the odd thing about the expansion sets. You're getting, I don't know, I'm just going to make something up here. You're getting Warfighter Afghanistan. They have the Kandahar expansion, and they've got the whatever other expansion. And in each expansion, you get similar but different cards. You're getting weapons, and you're getting NPCs, and you're getting terrain, and all. It's like, okay, well, what happens if I run into a scenario where I don't have the terrain? So I'm stuck with the few pieces of terrain I get in the base game and the one or two expansions. So it forces you to get, multiple expansions, which is one of the things where I kind of I lost the interest in Warfighter when it just dawned on me playing it one day. I was like, this is really just like a CCG. I basically have to have all the cards to be able to play the game.
Right.
And I was like, that just turned me off at that point. And
Well,
that's why I stopped playing that.
plus, I've had all the huge support issues with that fantasy game, and
Oh yeah.
that's
It
just
still
been
hasn't
shit.
released, right?
No,
Right.
not to the best of my knowledge.
Yeah, they're pretty much dead to me. I liked Phantom Leader or whatever it was. I played a little bit of that, and I like the zero game that that chap put out. That was pretty cool. Although the the kind of generic formatting of everything was annoying in terms of it was the same old format from the very first Corsair Leader or whatever it was.
Yeah.
They just didn't make an effort to make things clear and crisp and concise and better. It's just a cut and paste effort with his custom rules for zero fighters, right? Just yeah,
Well, this is it right here. What Ed Holtzman says,
exactly.
EVG has totally dropped the ball in their customer support over the last 4 years and last few years, and it's very true. Their customer support is pretty much dwindled to, you're lucky if you get any,
Yeah,
and
they need
that
to
is a
find the kid who's
recipe
running
for,
it.
yeah, that's a recipe for a self-immolation at that point. True. That old chestnut, I own a handful of Academy games, but Mare Nostrum Empires is easily my favorite. I don't rank my games, but that would be in my top 10. Yeah, that was a fun game. But it was
Hmm.
also one of those games where it was a neat game, but it's also one of those ones where you could basically win the game. And I have playing that game where you don't have conflict with anybody. You just sit over there, do your thing, and you beat everybody, and no one touches you because they don't realize they don't pay attention to what you're doing and try to stop you. It's like, okay, well, I'm just going to sit over here. Believe it or not, Mo's going to sit over here and not fight anybody. I'm just going to be like, oh, I don't need to fight you. Okay, I'm just going to do this. What are you doing? And I remember not Uwe, um, Gunter, his son, he was like sitting there going, they were like, damn, one of the guys goes, damn, Mo, why aren't you fighting anybody? And he looks at the guy and he goes, because he's winning, because he's just concentrating on winning. We need to go attack him. It was too late by that time.
Yeah.
Yeah, we used
Yeah,
to call that. There's a old card game my wife loved to play with me called Dominion. We used to call that
Mhm.
peanut butter Dutchy time because I would secretly just sit there and, like, I forget what the highest level estate was you could buy, But I wouldn't go for those. I'd go for that mid-grade Dutchy and just buy them up left, right, and center. But nobody paid attention to it. By the time they did, I already had so many points. The game was over.
Yeah, they're basically reskinning the same, similar games over and over.
Yeah, well, it's the same system whether you're playing Phantom Leader or
Yeah,
the Apache one,
B-17 or whatever.
yeah,
Yeah.
whatever it is. It's all the same thing.
Well, they just did Fulcrum Leader and something else. I
Yeah,
can't.
whoop-de-doo.
Eagle.
I haven't.
Eagle, wasn't it?
It's just not catching my attention, and I don't see enough difference in it. Like if you bought Zero Leader and it was the only DVG game you'd ever bought, you'd be like, oh my gosh, this is amazing, and you would have a great time with it. And then you go buy another one, you're like, oh, this is the same thing with different aeroplane cards.
So Nordic's asking, Hexy, would you play a solitaire narrative-driven game that places you in command of the CSS Hunley? I would play a game based on the turtle, but it wouldn't be historically accurate. But if it was done right, it could be fun. And points for anybody who knows what turtle is.
No points.
No,
No clue.
nothing from the co-hosts.
Nope.
Who knows what the turtle is?
Turtle head.
Well, I do have one question before I forget. Who is a really awesome designer that's also a friend of the show?
Herman Lutman.
Herman Lutman, very good. And John knows what I'm talking about. 1776 first submarine. So my question is, being that you said it, what is your favorite Herman Lutman game? Let's see what everybody has up for their favorite.
Oh, you're
Herman
asking
Lutman.
everybody.
Yes.
Me, I'm looking forward to his 4th edition of the States of Siege Zombie. Shit, now I can't remember the name of it. Zombies, what's he call it? Dawn of the Zeds.
Dawn of the Zeds.
That's it.
Yeah.
Plum Island was good. Little meaty. I think it needed some alterations to its smaller scale, like the 2-player rules.
John Halley, you don't own any Herman Lutman games?
Uh-oh.
Oh my God. His Most Fearful Sacrifice, the Congrats
ditto.
game.
Ditto.
You cannot tag one game from Herman as the best or your favorite.
He's been playing a lot of them lately.
Yeah, he has. Well, okay. So, being that Tony Costa said the new Congrats game, who can name that game? And nobody else. You guys can't say it, and I don't want to see anybody who already has a copy of the game say it in the chat, because
Cool.
I'm giving a
I'm gonna do
copy
it.
away.
I'm going to take a bathroom break while you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Shake it more than twice, you're playing with it.
It's 3 times, not twice, okay?
This is fun.
It's an uniced cupcake that I know you want.
Daddy.
I
Thank you.
Give it to you because Kennedy ate the other one that I set for you.
Oh, it's okay.
Candy is
It's my little girl's 5th birthday, excuse me.
Oh, happy birthday.
Yeah. So we are taking her to Dave and Buster's tomorrow.
Nice, nice.
And she is the sweetest little thing. When we took her out to let her buy, we let her pick, like, what do you want to get? She wanted to go to Build-A-Bear. She wanted to get Build-A-Bear, but wanted her siblings to get Build-A-Bear too.
Mm-hmm.
And we're like, no, this is a special thing because we've let each kid on their birthday go pick their own Build-A-Bear. And I'm like,
Yeah.
they've already got them. And, well, I
Oh,
want
that's
them
cute,
to be
though.
happy. Yeah, so
That's cute. Yeah, I like that.
she's getting the trip to Dave and Buster's so all the kids can get prizes.
So Nordic says, I actually don't have any Herman Lutman games either. So you know what? You're failing. All right? You're failing.
get
You're
some.
talking smack about Jersey people. Send me your mailing information and I will get you a copy of By Blood and Iron. And that is thanks to Herman Lutman, who has been trying to remind me every time we do a show that he has a copy that he wants us to give away and he has on the side for us. And he reminded me before, and I was like, I'm making sure that I do the giveaway tonight. So Nordic Maelstrom, you get a copy of By Blood and Iron.
What's
from
the occasion?
Herman Lutman. By Iron and Blood, I'm sorry. What's that?
What's the occasion? It's not a fundraiser. Just
It was when the game came out. He had said it then, and I forgot. And when we were doing, I think it was over Christmas, we were doing all the giveaways, and he had that, and I forgot to add it in there because I was trying to keep track of who got what games on the list, and I forgot to add that one in there. And he brought it up a few more times, and I kept forgetting to do the giveaway. So he goes, "Hey, I still have that copy of the game today." I was like, "Oh my god, I can't believe I keep forgetting." So I was like, I made another reminder to myself, "Don't forget tonight. You're doing the giveaway." So Nordic gets a copy of By Iron and Blood. And this way you can finally have a Herman Lutman game. And you can see why everybody keeps talking about Herm Lutman being such a great designer and an awesome dude. So
what's the By Iron and Blood about?
this is the Battle of Kunigrats, July 3rd, 1866. And this is, let's see here. It says several innovative features will ensure no two games play alike. HQ activations that will allow each side to maneuver their forces as effectively as possible. Command activation based system.
Is that
Excuse me.
Is he using the what's it blind sword system?
It's kind of, yeah. It's one of those. What is it called here? Black.
It's a variation on that.
Yeah, it's a variation. I forget what the name of it is here, but it's got the cards and everything too. So
Oh yeah, then yeah,
Same type of-
you'll enjoy that.
yeah,
Go check out some videos on the Most Fearful Sacrifice, and you'll get an idea of what it is. What was that game? God, there was a game that he had got controversy over. Someone had made a video and
Oh,
was attacking
boy.
his game.
yeah.
Was it?
In magnificent style.
That's it. That's it. I remember talking to him about
People
it,
just need to shut up.
and I did a video defending him and calling out the bullshit. But I looked up the game when I was doing that, and I was like, "Are you reprinting this anytime soon?" He said he was going to be working on it, and I was like, "All right, keep me in mind for that one because that looks like something I would have fun with."
It is. It's a fun game. You know,
Good game.
it's push your luck. It's what's the other one? Totally brain dead right now. The World War
Crowbar.
II Crowbar. It's same system. You know, similar system that actually came first.
That came
Then
from
Crowbar came after.
Devil
Victory
Pig-
Point games.
Flying Pig.
Flying Pig. No, Worthington. It was originally
Crowbar?
with Victory Point games.
No, Crowbar was.
No,
yeah,
Crowbar is.
Crowbar.
Yeah, Crowbar was.
Okay,
But
yeah.
in Magnificent Style was Worthington. That was originally Victory Point games back in the day. And that was a neat little game then. It was a smaller, much smaller format, less deluxe than what you're getting with Worthington. And the same with Dawn of the Zeds. That was also from Victory Point back in the day. And then they did their last one, the third edition, which was a big, crazy game. But when it comes to just fun, in Magnificent Style is fun. You're pushing your luck, trying to get across the field. And you realize, man, that was insane. As you're playing this game, you're like, that was an insane run across that field. It was just, no. It was not a really tactically sound
Pick its
decision.
shots, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was fun. And then he's got the other one, Volters Lead the Way, which uses
Yeah.
the same system too. And that's set in a sci-fi
But
environment.
just
So,
that jackass wrote the article attacking the game, and
yeah.
it was. I mean, I couldn't help it. I had to blast him over it. Like there's nothing wrong with the game.
Yeah, and Mannering like says Volters Lead the Way as well. Yeah, it was. Yeah, that was the thing too. Is it's just it's stupid. You know, there's a segment out there of non-war gamers who think they're war gamers who want to attack war games because they
Yeah.
claim to be war gamers and above war games. It's like, you know what? If you're a war gamer, history is history.
Yeah.
A lot of history is ugly.
He
but
was attacking the
history is history.
history that the game was based on, but blaming the game for it.
Yeah,
Almost like
and
it
it's
was Herman Lutman's. Like, how dare you allow the slaves to be enslaved before the Civil War, Herman? This is
Yeah.
all your fault.
Yeah, which is
Total
funny.
lost causa, right? And then what's his face? What's the little Frenchie got in on the act?
Fred.
Yeah.
Freddie.
Well, the funny thing is, most of these people that post these things are usually posting them off these things, their phones, which are
Right.
made by slave labor. So, it's funny when people complain about slavery when they're using a device basically, essentially built by slave labor,
Oh, not to
which
mention
is still in existence today. You know?
harvested the materials, those rare earth elements, man.
Right. And,
Mhm.
and most of the
Yeah.
guys that are whining about it are Euro gamers anyway. Wouldn't know their head from their ass when it comes to a war game anyway.
And that's the thing about it that's frustrating. And they'll say if you try to defend the game or anything, you're a gatekeeper. It's like, you know what? It's the game. It's a piece of history. It was Pickett's charge was a thing. It really happened. This is to try to give you, which is what I said before. It gave you the sense as you're doing it, and it's a low complexity game, but you still get the feel of the
Mm.
futility of getting across that field, and you're like, man, this is really not a good idea. Can we turn back around and go the other way? Because you really do get a feel for that. And I think that was one of the best parts about that game is you got to feel the sense of futility as they're running across that field. And it was like, wow, it was done in a low complexity game, which is what I think, or moderate complexity, which I think is a fantastic job by Herm.
Yep.
Did you ever have a commander like that? Idiot
No.
commander that would just order the dumbest shit?
Oh, well, yeah, everybody's got, idiot commanders, but that's your NCOs and your staff NCOs
No,
need to
I was
shape those people.
I was thinking our colonel that had us running constant day missions because he wanted to get stuck in so bad. That guy wanted to get his combat action ribbon, and it's hilarious. Everyone else got him. I got mine. The rest of the guys got theirs. He's the only guy. For some reason, he was a good luck charm. Anytime we went out with him, nothing. Nothing blew up. No shots were fired, and it pissed him off to no end. Oh, I loved it. He was on Operation Full Bird or Star.
This is a great point. Stegler says every ACW aficionado should make a pilgrimage to Gettysburg and actually walk that field for themselves. It is sobering. And that is one of the things about these games and how they connect to history and then getting to see the historical, spots themselves.
Right.
You will feel the that feeling of, that sobering moment of going, wow, just think about what really happened here
Right.
at this
It's like
time.
it's like being able to visit the battle, the Normandy beaches. I imagine
Yeah.
it's the same situation.
There
And have
was
these people chime in and like, oh well, you're a gatekeeper and you're a lost causer.
Oh
That's
yeah,
got
he used that term. Yeah.
that's got
flavors and lost
nothing to do
causers.
with
That
it,
was the
moron.
thing. Yeah.
Absolutely nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
Now there was one, and then he's talking about the view from Cemetery Hill as well. That was sobering. And there was another one that I don't know if I've ever mentioned this before, but my wife and I were, because we're from Jersey. This is years ago. We were at one of those. It was something for the Civil War, I mean, the Revolution. It was around the 4th of July like weekend, and they were doing all these things. And it was one of the historical spots. I forget where it was, and we went there. And there was this little church there, small little church, old, very old, and it had a little cemetery. And I was looking at the headstones there, and one of them was about this guy. He was a private in the Continental Army, and he died in 1780. And I said to my wife, I says, it was one of those sobering moments. I was like, wow, this guy is one of the reasons why we have a country. He fought in the Revolution. He gave his life for our freedom, literally, for the birth of our nation. And it's just one of those things that just hits you when you're standing there. And I was like, wow, you kind of get this feeling of reverence. It's like, wow, this is just a young guy like us, but he fought in what was the thing that created our country, the conflict that gave birth to this nation. And it was one of those things where I felt that same sobering feeling, that
That's cool.
Stigler's talking about. Yeah. So we're gonna do a couple other things here. Anybody got any last questions or comments here from the crowd before we wrap up and call it a night? So Little Round Top is reopened.
Time for
Yeah.
some
Take
shadow
charge
of
was a
the
bitch.
shadow of the Erd tree. Time to hit that expansion.
See, now that should have been the subtitle. In magnificent style, Pickett's charge was a bitch.
Shut up, Pexie.
Yes, young like me at that time. It was like 20 some odd years ago, 25, 30 years ago. Walk the ground at Gettysburg, it'll give you the heebie-jeebies. Antietam, same thing.
Are you
Yeah,
allowed to actually just walk out onto the field? They don't have it like roped off or anything?
No, you can go over the whole thing, man. Like Antietam is amazing. It's in particular too. Gettysburg is massive. It takes the full day to really cover the whole battlefield. We've done it 2 or 3 times. It's super impressive.
Nice.
Is it open? Like I would
Yeah.
assume people have picked that place clean. Go through
Yeah,
like
I'm
metal
sure.
detectors to get like the musket balls and stuff.
Yeah, I'm sure that all that's been picked up anyway. But they
Yeah.
have a whole museum full of all the stuff they found off the battlefield and examples of equipment and a rotunda, and then the battlefield itself it's massive. It's spread over hundreds of acres.
There's another one there. Petersburg.
Yep.
And then Stigler saying you really need 2 or 3 days to get Gettysburg right.
Yep.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I mean you can go through it in a day.
No, I mean
It's gonna
Gettysburg
be-
was 3 days, right?
Yes, but if
That's-
you wanted to do, if you want to really get the full effect, I mean, you really should take your time for it.
Yeah, but
It's
could
like-
you imagine bringing the wife and the kids to that? If I got them to last half a day, it'd be a miracle.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't
but
think my
you
wife would
take
go.
a 3 hour or 4 hour 1 day tour and then go meander around. They'll have a great time and take and buy ice cream and come back. You can come and go. So
Yeah.
it's really easy to do. Like you go back into town and town's part, there's sections of town that are part of the battlefield and just go get ice cream and a hamburger and then come on back into the battlefield and go see the rest of it. It's really cool, dude. We've done it 3 times with our family.
We're planning something not as grand, but similar. We're planning on taking the kids down to the battleship at Wilmington.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Nice,
down
nice.
here off the coast. There's something else. The aquarium she wants to take them to, but we
Right.
figured we could take them, let them see the ship, and then
Yep.
do that, and that can just be a day trip.
And when your guys and girls are older, you'll be able to do more stuff.
Yeah, the Alamo it's true. It's very quiet inside the mission itself when you're in there because it's very small and that's one of the things that you first notice when you go in the Alamo. You're like expecting this big, huge fortress type of thing, and you're like, "That's it,"
Yeah.
because it's just the mission itself, and then you see the everything that was built down around it, of course, which is now gone and it's been overtaken by modern civilization. But it was really cool. That is definitely another cool thing to see, especially if you're here in Texas to go see that. And you want to talk about a ballsy fight, man. Talk about the Leroy Jenkins of Defiance. It was
Right.
it was that.
I wonder how they figure out stuff like that would be something to preserve. That future generations would want to know or see that.
Yeah.
Well,
to
if it
preserve
becomes the
those
battle cry, remember the Alamo. I think that's going to make it a pretty important
Yeah.
to people.
The one that gets me is the Enterprise, the aircraft carrier from the World War II. They should have preserved that ship. That would have been an awesome museum piece, floating museum piece for future generations. And for some reason, they decided to scrap it. I'm like, why? It was such a pivotal ship when it came to World War II. At one point, it was the only serviceable aircraft carrier we had. Why would we tear that thing apart?
Well, now they might tear things down because it might offend somebody.
Yeah. But
mean,
William Shatner wasn't going to allow his
Starship.
Starship model to be represented there. So they said, "Oh heck, we won't do it then." Is that
Yeah,
what
I
you
think-
mean, USS Enterprise? What's that? What you mean? Oh, you mean the aircraft carrier? Sorry.
Yes, the actual
See.
USS Enterprise.
The real one.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is, those things do need to be preserved. I'm
Right.
a big fan of preserving all aspects of history, and I think they need to be remembered. They need to be. Everything has to have its place, and people need to remember all these things because they happened. And like I said before, history is not all full of just great things. There's a lot of really bad things that happen, a lot of evil things, but we can't just turn away from them. We can't ignore them, and we can't say, let's do away with this and act like it never happened. No, we need to remember these things because that's how you learn. That's how you remember. And that's when you say, we're not going to let that happen again because you learn from your mistakes. But if you keep wiping things out, well, then people stay ignorant to them. And, we have things like we have today. People are like shocked that things happened in the past. It's like, well, yeah, we've been around a few thousand years.
Right.
Things have happened, and they happen again.
No, they're not taught history anymore. Hell, they don't even teach basic civics.
This is true. Okay, so I think we got all the last comments and questions. So we will catch you guys on the next episode. What do you got coming up here this week, Nate?
I am gonna be finishing up some more. The Last of All. I want to get no, not The Last of All. The Fate of All. I want to get some more examples of play up. I'm going to be reading my textbook, Iron Armor. I also am
Doing
going to
your
have
homework.
Trench Club Legacy. It's a World War One miniatures game that has legacy components to it, so you can kind of play out the campaign. I'm going to start that one. And I might, if I can get the kids to jump in with me, have the new little cart board game that I had backed for them on Kickstarter. It just arrived. So it's,
Nice.
It's kind of like Mario Kart, the board game.
Oh, cool. That should be fun with the kids. Yeah, that'll be
Yeah.
a lot of fun.
That'd be fun.
Yeah. Kev, what about you?
Well, Aaron Armour. I mean, we got to get turn 1 done at some point. So we'll
Should have been
look at
done
that.
quimming the rules already.
Yeah, quick 96 page read, so we're good to go. And then I just finished setting up DAC 2, the campaign game for that, starting in, as I said, June 42. So that will probably get more attention this week than not. And I've got some other bits and pieces, but yeah.
Nice. Well, to answer your question real quickly, it'll probably be towards the end of next month, probably like the 23rd or so when I get back from my vacation. I'm not sure if these guys have any plans. So probably around that time frame is when we'll look for it, to get the next show in. And then maybe we'll get something in between if we can get maybe get a special guest in here or
Or if
two.
you get some reception, you can call in from the cruise ship.
The odds of me doing that are pretty much zero doing it from the ship because
Right.
you get a maximum of 150 hours or 150 minutes, of Wi-Fi, and the Wi-Fi is not reliable. So I know I won't have any reception on my phone. So it'll be all Wi-Fi. So I'm not even worried about it, which would be nice. So I'd be able to disconnect for a little while. And
Is it one of those special cruises? One of those clothing optional cruises?
oh no, it's a real regular cruise.
That's what it is.
It's on Norwegian, so it'll be we're going up there on Norwegian Bliss is the name of the ship. So should be fun. Looking forward to it.
Very cool. Have a good time, bud.
Yeah, definitely going to enjoy that, and it'll be cool to get to see Alaska finally. So, but we will see you guys next month, and if we get another one in between, we'll let you know. And we appreciate all you guys tuning in tonight, and we will catch you on the next one. Have a great night, everyone.